How does Ho'oponopono actually work? How can the practice of saying, "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you," really make a difference to your mental state? In this instalment, I'm going to have a closer look at the process that is set off in your mind and body when you use the practice, and how it differs from some other methods that we might loosely term self-talk or affirmations. In Ho'oponopono, they talk a lot about the concept of zero. What does that mean? Let's imagine this line represents your mind when it's in a calm and balanced state, a state of equanimity. You're not overly stimulated, but you're also not lacking in vitality. But then something happens, some life event that upsets the balance and forces some kind of mental reaction, perhaps fear, perhaps anger, some kind of stress response. Now, in theory, once the stimulus has passed, your state of mind should return to balance. But then what happens if those stressful events keep happening and you keep getting those kicks in the guts that continually force you out of that peaceful state of equanimity? Over time, it gets harder and harder to return to a healthy balance. We find ourselves getting stuck in a reactive state so that we never really escape the cycles of stress, and they start to feel normal. Yeah, there are times of relative peace when the cycle swings back somewhat, but that true state of equanimity has been lost. And for some of us, the pattern that develops is one in which we alternate between stress and depression, between overstimulated reaction and low energy resignation. This is how attitudes are formed. If we spend enough time in this extreme state, our thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes tend to form themselves accordingly. The thoughts and beliefs become your reality. You come to accept that that's just the way the world is. And once those beliefs become entrenched, then, of course, your expectations become self-fulfilling. If the reality of your world is that people are inherently untrustworthy, for example, then you will forever be noticing the proof of that reality in your daily life. Consciously or otherwise, we seek out confirmation of our beliefs. Now, this state of balance that we're talking about is not just a mental phenomenon. In medicine, the term homeostasis is used to describe the natural, healthy state of the body, in which all the body's systems return to a neutral state once a stimulus has passed. At times of threat, for example, we are flooded with adrenaline, but once the threat has passed, the parasympathetic nervous system stops the production of adrenaline so we can return to a state of relaxation. Another example, when our eyes are exposed to very bright light, the pupils are constricted to protect the retina, and when the light source is removed, the parasympathetic nervous system returns the eyes to a neutral state. It's when the physical systems become overwhelmed and the parasympathetic nervous system can no longer bring us back to that neutral state that physical problems start to arise. It's just the same with mental processes. When the stimuli that force us out of that neutral mental state are repeated enough times, or with sufficient force, then we start to lose the ability to return to a state of balance, and those distorted thoughts and beliefs become habitual. What the Ho'oponopono practice can do is it can get around those habitual thoughts and beliefs. It can silence them so that your mind is more able to return to that natural, neutral state. And it's that neutral state that's embodied in the Ho'oponopono concept of zero. Now, what it doesn't do is try to construct new realities. And this is where the practice differs from things like affirmations. Affirmations say things like, I'm becoming more prosperous, or I'm losing weight, or I'm going to find the person of my dreams. In other words, they propose a new reality with the idea that if you say it enough times, your unconscious will start to believe it and your reality will change. The problem with that is that as long as you have those internal voices telling you that wealth is unattainable, or that it's impossible to lose weight, or that all the unattached people out there are Fruit Loops, then those affirmations tend not to make any impression. Ho'oponopono doesn't make promises. It doesn't say, do this practice and all your dreams will come true. It doesn't try to construct a new reality. What it does is allow you to return to a neutral state, a state of natural balance, in which your outlook is not distorted and limited by the attitudes, the fears, and the beliefs you've accumulated over a lifetime. It returns you to a state of zero, to a state of mind unencumbered by the past. And that is when new realities can arise. It's not magic, it's not a miracle, and when it happens, it actually feels quite normal. If you focus on where you are now and where you want to be, the gap can seem infinite, insurmountable. Ho'oponopono doesn't magically transport you from here to there. What it does is remove all that pre-programming that's affecting the way you think about the situation. It takes away the perception that those are the only two options available to you. And when you can do that, the possibilities arise spontaneously, and they are infinite. In the next video, we're going to talk some more about the Ho'oponopono practice and how you can use it to improve your life. So please hit subscribe, and I'll see you soon.